So I didn't think this we were going to be discussing Maul Shadow Lord episodes 5 and 6.
Five
No,
and six.
five and
Yes.
six. Okay. I know the first one I believe is the Inquisitor, and the second one is titled.
Night of the Hunted.
Okay. It wasn't very dialogue heavy in this. It was much more leaning on the action sequences.
Yes.
Yeah. So we start with the fact that yes, the Empire has moved in. They're taking over. They're making no beef about the fact that they like local jurisdiction is out the window. It is all under Empire rule. They take Officer Lawson's boss, I'm missing, I can't remember her name. They take her off to be questioned. It because she's essentially going at this point, she's taking the heat for what he has done or he has
He was
allowed.
his boss, so even though
Yeah.
he was the one that kind of ran with everything, she was the one that let him do it.
Right. So like, I mean, I would be like a good boss. She's first line of fire.
Right.
Um, Two Boots is still very like, hey, it's great. They're gonna the Empire's gonna see that, we just if we just bootlick and do what they say, everything will be fine. Like there will be no problems with this. This is according to protocol. Riley finds out his son finds out that because Officer Watson ends up being taken in question. Riley comes into the station, finds out that his dad has been taken for interrogation, and again, Two Boots is like, if your dad just complies and
I
answers.
appreciate the innocence that they are committing to this character. Like, it's frustrating, but
Right.
it's also like, I love that there is a character in this universe that is seeing things the way the Empire wants people to see them.
Right. Just
Because so much of what we see is people that either are working for the Empire or are against the Empire, but not really just the everyday individual that is just like, oh yeah, no, they're keeping us safe.
exactly. But like you had stated in a different episode, is that this is a protocol droid and he's just following protocol.
Yes.
The other person, going back to just what you just said, is Riley in this. Because of his mom working for the Empire, he doesn't see the Empire as wholly bad
Right.
either until the very end of probably six.
Yeah.
When he realizes like, oh wait, hey, like these people like these the Empire people are kind of eating people.
Yeah.
But Riley appeals to his mother and says, hey, can you help dad? Can you get him out of this predicament? And she's just like, if he just answers, everybody goes back. If they just answer the questions,
Oof.
honestly, everything will be okay.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we have the Jedi still. We have Devin and Daki still on the run, trying to get out of the now Imperial closed down city of Janix. I still believe it's Janix. And he does the whole like, you let us you don't need to see our papers. He does the
Yeah.
whole Jedi mind trick, and another stormtrooper is watching and it's like, hey, why'd you guys let them off without any papers? A chase happens. They're fleeing from again the stormtroopers. And at the end of this episode, to fast forward, they end up at Officer Lawson's house after he is let go from his interrogation with the Inquisitor. He
Yes.
was like, basically like, tell us what, like, hey, Maul, we're here. Tell us where he's at. What happened? Why are you still alive if a firefight broke out? How is that
Right.
possible? And he's just like,
It is what it is. I got lucky.
get lucky. I mean, which in a sense he did because he
Yeah.
never did give Maul anything.
No.
He but the only thing is he did at that point hide that because I believe even his boss says it's not like we're harboring Jedi
Yeah,
and
he's
he's
the
like,
only one that knows because if you go back to the last episode where the two Jedi are fighting Maul, they're up on a platform just out of view, and you can see the lightsaber glow, but
right.
if you're down there, you don't really see it. the rest of his team was kind of fighting for their lives. So
Right,
he worked his way up there, and that is how he saw it, but it was out of eye view of everyone else.
right, yeah. And so when he does earlier find out that Daki is, that they're Jedi. And so when they show up in his house, and Riley has let them into the house and is kind of hiding them. He's like, what are you doing?
Right.
I just I
After getting
just
out of
escaped.
interrogation.
Right, I just escaped this interrogation from the Inquisitor, and now like you brought the Jedi to our house, like,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of interesting because I'm assuming then that as far as at that point that Riley's mother had never had a conversation with him about Jedi and what he is to do if he's to ever see one, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think depending on how much time has passed, which it's only been a few years,
Sure,
everyone should still know who the Jedi are. Like I know the farther you
sure.
get removed for it, like you get to the Mandalorian times, like yeah, no one really knows what they are, which is still weird, but whatever. But at this point, he should know what they are, and I feel like that should have been, I mean, maybe they figured at that point so many have been purged that it's not something that you need to
Right.
tell people.
Fair
But
point.
yeah, I don't know. I was interested too when he was like, "Wait, what? What?" I'm like, "Really? Like that was like 2 years ago, kid. Come on now."
Right. Like, so your mom never talked about what would happen if you ever ran into Jedi. Like,
Yeah.
if they consider them the enemy, like, then and wiping them out and hunting them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you open with episode 6, and basically the Inquisitor has tracked down the Jedi to Officer Watson's apartments. And now this is kind of the beginning of a long, continuous lightsaber fight between the Inquisitor, the Jedi, and eventually Darth Maul, and at the end of the episode. So the Inquisitor tracks down the Jedi. That they escape with all, like I said, it's heavy on the fighting, not so much in the dialogue. It's a lot
Yes.
of Devin getting a transport, them fighting against stormtroopers along with the Inquisitor. Devin is tasked with the job of kind of protecting Riley, whereas Daki is kind of fighting, like, I'm older, stronger, I can, these guys are my own. And then like Lawson is kind of with him doing the little what he can do. But she is clearly not incapable. Her
Right.
skill set is quite good, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I watching her fight, I was like, okay, so she knows what she's doing.
Right.
It reminded me of Ahsoka with the acrobatics, but I did appreciate a good lightsaber duel on a moving platform. I'm a sucker for all of that. But no, she handled herself pretty well, and I know with the lore with Inquisitors, they were never the best Jedi. It was like I think a lot of the temple guards became Inquisitors, but then I feel like that second wave of Inquisitors were Jedi that were just like decent. And, and so, but no, I thought she did really well, and you got Uncle Docky over here limping around. It's only a matter of time for him. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, yeah. So we do end up with the fact that the teams are split. Uh Daki tells Devin, whatever you do, just kind of keep an eye on Riley. And Officer Watson's like, well, it's my child. And he's like, trust me, he's in good hands. Just let it happen. And they end up on a train-ish, cargo-ish
Yeah,
shipping
like a
thing on
cargo
a line,
train.
right? Where she is fighting the Inquisitor. And lo and behold, who comes to her rescue?
Yeah,
Which we kind of guessed. We
we
said that
kind
this
of
thing might.
guessed it came in at the right time. He was fighting the Inquisitor, didn't really try to make a move on her. He actually kind of ignored her for a minute, and then she jumped in, which was just that was beautiful. That was a beautiful fight. The dark background going through the tunnel. the red lightsabers dueling, and then you add the blue lightsaber alongside the red against another red lightsaber. And then you see times like she'd get knocked down by the Inquisitor, and as he swipes down, like Maul goes to save her. Doesn't acknowledge it, he just kind of
Yeah.
does it. And then once the fight finishes, he's like, now you see the face of your true enemy. I was like, this man, he's a poet. I mean, he'd convince me, I'll be honest. If that fight ended and he's like, now you said, like, you know what? Cool, let's go.
Plus, he said it in front of Riley,
Yes,
which Riley understands that that's the Inquisitor. That's part of the Empire that his mother works for, and so I'm don't know how familiar Riley is with Maul or the Sith, or apparently even the Jedi. I don't know what he knows and what he doesn't at this point. But his mother working for the Empire, you have to assume that at least his base knowledge of what the Empire is it can't be that bad. I mean, his mom
exactly.
works.
Yeah,
His
my mom
mom,
works for them, right?
right? My mom works for them, so they can't be like horrible people that are hunting people by any means. And I think you kind of see on his face, like, oh my gosh, like the people in the that are working for the Empire are like going to they don't have any problem with like killing kids.
Right.
She's a child just like I am. She saved my life, but this thing that works for the Empire had no problem with swinging on her.
Well, and I wonder if I'm curious if he knows that the mom went to work for the Empire, but she went to work for them off-world or in a different system, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The contrast that you see from how people were moving and going about their day versus when the Empire arrived, this might be the first time that he's experienced it because as they keep saying, once the Empire comes, they never leave.
Right,
So as far as he knows, they're out taking the Empire is handling the business and helping keep the galaxy safe, and
right,
that's all he knew. I believe that even without that interaction with the Jedi, just seeing them bring their starship over the city, having just tons of the stormtroopers walking the streets, demanding to see people's papers, like interrogating your dad, all like I think even without that, the glass might start to shatter a little bit. But then with the Inquisitor coming in that whole interaction, yeah, I think now he's going to question like, well, Mom, who do you work for? And
right.
all of and again, not to bring everything from the real world into the show, but it was like so many similarities with stuff that we're seeing in real life and Daredevil and Andor, and it's just like we're kind of following the script right now. George Lucas was onto something,
And,
but
and if you see
I think the
yourself on the side
shift,
of the enemy,
right?
that's
Yeah,
they're not writing it to mirror things that are happening in today's society. These characters are already established. Canon's already been years and decades long.
yes.
So like, yeah,
Yeah, but I think it was very interesting showing once the Empire arrived how different your day-to-day life has
sure,
immediately and in some cases forever changed. I
right,
thought they did a really good job showing that, and it explains kind of why the Mandalorians are going to Maul. Like, dude, we need to go. Like, forget about this girl. They
right.
know how hard it is to operate with the Empire just looming over you like a shadow.
Yeah, they were very like, like we were told that we were gonna do that we weren't okay. It's a whole
Right.
different game now that the Empire is involved. Like we
Yeah.
don't we're here for the money, but like maybe you need to sweeten the pot a little bit better because of
Right.
this, because this is not what we decide, not what we agreed on at all when we were going to do this. It's just that we're just going to take over another criminal organization and make some money. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we have, like I said, it wasn't, like I said, very dialogue heavy in this. It was more of showing, again, like you said, how the Empire comes in and immediately puts just a clamp down on the entire city, just transports where people are going. I'm assuming some sort of like people to like a curfew, they're roaming the streets, they're doing that, this and that. And so it's like they're taking over investigations. And we do end with, I believe, this very last scene in 6 is I don't know the guy's name who is the for the Empire, the guard-ish type. But clearly he's talking to Sidious, right?
Is okay, I believe it was Sidious. No, that was the Inquisitor that was talking to him.
Okay. Okay.
But the Inquisitor was like, I can confirm that Maul is here and he's more dangerous than we assumed or expected because I guess the Empire at this point
Thought he was dead.
thought he was dead, maybe heard rumors that he was alive, but they haven't seen him because the last they knew, he got cut in half. This is after the Clone Wars. This is after the Clone Wars, so they know he's alive, because he appeared in the Clone Wars. But I guess they don't. Last time we saw him in the Clone Wars, before the Siege of Mandalore and all of that, Sidious had him. He was in prison or something, but he escaped, worked with Ahsoka, and on the final episodes of the Clone Wars, he helped Ahsoka escape, and then she let him leave. So I guess originally the Empire probably thought he went down with the ship that had captured him with Ahsoka and all those guys, but they never found his body. So I guess there were rumors that he was alive, and now they see he's alive and he's still got his robo legs and all of that. So yeah, this is confirmation for them. I'm curious if it was Sidious or Vader that they were talking to.
Right.
Because it's like they report to Vader, who reports to Sidious, but you would also think that if this is Sidious's previous apprentice, maybe they just bypass Vader and it's like, no, we need to go to the big boss.
Worry yourself with don't worry yourself with Maul, who is clearly almost like you don't want to say even more impressive than Darth Vader, but I mean we've seen actually at this point now Maul fight more than what we ever have to Vader. Vader doesn't
Yes.
even like I don't want to say that Darth Vader doesn't fight, but we always have him kind of quietly walking through someplace just slicing down people.
Yes.
Just like squeezing. And Maul is very much more acrobatic. Like
He's
he's the
acrobatic. He's in the trenches. He like
yes.
Vader has the backing of the Empire as he goes through and does what he does. Maul is wreaking havoc with a bunch of mercenaries. Like it's a completely different ball game.
Right. But even at the beginning when we have the Phantom Menace and we first see Darth Maul, he's even still very acrobatic
Oh
then.
yes.
As an apprentice, he's still
Yes.
very, very and we don't really ever see the little we do see of Darth Vader, Anakin, as an apprentice, he still is not very. I mean, maybe the fight um at the very end against Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Yeah,
you know,
Mustafar, he was pretty
yeah.
agile and active, although his one big flip is the reason why he had his limbs cut. But yeah, he was always more of a, in the simplest terms for football, Anakin was more of a lethal pocket passer, and Darth Maul was that dual threat quarterback.
Right, right, yes, yeah. So I'm just saying, like, in as far as like the differences is what we've been able to see at this
Yes,
point, we've seen much more of Darth Maul as an apprentice and now Rogue on his own than what we ever really saw Anakin slash Darth
for
Vader
sure.
ever do. So it's like it's pretty interesting in watching like how would how would have Anakin been in the apprentice? Like would he have been? But then I guess when you have your arms and legs cut off, but again, Maul has both legs cut off.
Yeah. But I mean, and this gets deep into discussion and debate with people from Legends and comics. And in the comics, Vader is he's pretty savage and does a lot. But from what I remember reading, his armor was like the cheap, like Sidious punished him for losing that fight by being like, I'm going to fix your body, but you're not getting the premium parts. Like you're going to be in pain all the time. You're getting the low end of what could fix your body. I think that like there was a book or comic where it's kind of talked about where like if Sidious had allowed him to get the good stuff, he would be more like Anakin, whereas now it makes him heavier and slower, and he's forced to be a different type of fighter versus Maul, who
Still
has
is in
his
pain.
he still is in pain. You saw when they were fixing his knee that Daki kicked. Like it hurt him when they're screwing stuff back together or welding it back on.
Yeah, he did. When he finished talking to his rooks, when he walked away, it was like the closed caption was like grunts in pain, like just
Yeah.
like grunts in pain as he left her. He seems super. I mean, again, he seems super obsessed with Devin as a Jedi and thinking that like her skill set really will translate well into an apprentice. He has. It seems to me like he always has an obsession for Jedi, like good and bad. And he apparently likes the female type, not to
Yeah.
go after just kill him, but
He tried to go after Ahsoka on the final episodes of the Clone Wars, didn't work.
right,
He's going for Devin. We'll see how that finishes up. And then we know in a few years or years from now, it's going to be a minute, but then he, runs the same play with Ezra. So it's like he knows that he can't defeat the Empire by himself.
sure that he needs an apprentice.
He
Yes,
needs an apprentice. So like he's constantly searching for one.
right.
And I mean, I'm here for the story. I've enjoyed every episode so far.
Yeah, what did you think overall of the episode? Like I said, since it wasn't, there's not too much as far as story or
Yeah,
dialogue to get into.
I thought the action was really good, and I thought the visual storytelling, like again, obviously the action scenes were great.
Sure.
Um, but again, seeing the Empire show up and just seeing how everyone's lives are now changed based off the first few episodes. Um, the stuff with Riley, they will always, 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 when it comes to any Star Wars show, especially animated, will involve a child in some fashion. Riley's B or C story, there are times I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't care. But I realize like they need to have that youthful character. And they're doing a good job of integrating Riley into the other A and B stories. But I thought those were really good. I thought seeing the Empire take over the police station and the investigation, the Inquisitor coming out of the shadows to interrogate Lawson, Two Boots still being just stupidly innocent. And then, of course, like, I won't say it was his breaking point, but of all the stuff that was happening, he didn't look upset or confused until they talked about his shoes. I'm like, bro, you serious right now? That's your breaking point? Like,
Wait a minute, you guys are so like you're so you so lock things down. You're so rigid that it's like my shoes are the things that are not protocol. Like, and I think it was that, and I think also the fact that he was being a protocol droid, thinking that he does everything right, and that oh, even I have broken protocol. Like,
yes.
is like kind of an oh like moment for him where I think he just thinks he does everything right at all times and got so used to kind of people treating him as a sentient being, not just a droid,
Yes.
like his friend Officer Lawson, that and until that they come through, he's like, oh crap, like I'm not there. There's protocol and then there's protocol times 10, and I'm not
Right.
even meeting protocol now. So I kind of wonder if that was why they used that. But I mean, like I thought the same thing too, was like, oh, everything else is, you just answer questions nice. And maybe that was what he thought. It was, well, as long as we're playing along, that my shoes shouldn't matter. But I think it's like a smaller thing and a bigger,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's pointing out like, hey, even you are not,
Right.
even you are breaking protocol with this minor thing. So yeah, I
I
mean, I thought it was good. Like I said, the lightsaber fights were incredible. I mean,
just so
that
good.
was so good. And Maul shows up and his voice acting is it's always just top notch. Just the way he
Yes.
delivers every
Yes.
line. Um and knows what to say at the right moment, like you said, when he tells Devin, now you see who the true enemy is. And just each little episode he's kind of chipping away at her psyche because And in episode 5, when she questions Zach and she says, "Wait, it's always going to be a real, like, why have all these skills? Why have this talent if all we're going to do is be on the run?" And he was like, "See your face, but those are Maul's words coming out of your mouth. Like
But
that's
it's also just yes, and I realize like they're putting that as Daki's response to kind of like further the point that she's questioning
sure,
things. But it's also like, why is that a dark side or Sith thing to think?
right,
Like they shouldn't be on the run, and I realize like they're painted as villains, but her saying that and you immediately being like, that's Maul talking. It's like, or maybe it's just her looking around and being like, what are we doing?
maybe it's a kid that's just hungry."
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And I think like that kind of shows the flaws of the Jedi is
Yes.
immediately, essentially telling her that she's being wooed by the dark side because she's asking a real question because she's a child that's hungry, a
Right.
child that doesn't have somewhere to sleep, a child that doesn't want to be looking over her shoulder, and your response to that is, the dark side's getting to you. Like,
Don't
I,
gaslight me. I'm hungry.
exactly, exactly. And again, obviously Maul is the bad guy. We're not saying that, but I think with all of these different movies and shows over the years, it has shown more and more and more why the Jedi were so easily manipulated and why, from some perspectives, some people would look at them and be like, "You're no better," or "You're you're
Just
closer to the Sith and the Empire than you think you are." Like
right.
that was such a wild response from him to a
Right.
valid statement from her.
Right. But like you said, they used it clearly just to make the point across that it was like, okay, she's falling more and more under Maul's like ideology. But
Yeah,
it is a huge gaslighting to be like, well, anytime you complain about hungry, you must be turning the dark side. It's like,
right.
or hear me out, I'm hungry.
I'm just
Like
hungry.
maybe you
There's
should
no
teach me
ulterior motives. I just want to eat something to eat. I want some
right,
blue
like
milk.
teach me how to use the force and make my hunger go away. Like be
Right.
useful here. Like then tell me to gather it up and push the feeling away. Like, but don't just be like dark side.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. And I thought that was, yeah, I thought that was interesting. And I'm curious because I don't believe Docu lives. Like they are setting him up to die. I'm curious if the Inquisitor is going to be the one that does it, and Maul kind of steps in at that point and seizes the opportunity, or is there a situation where the Inquisitor is around, Devin is not? I think Maul is fighting the Inquisitor, Daki's there. They're kind of teaming up similarly to how Devin and Maul teamed up, but Maul takes the opportunity to off the Jedi Master
or let the Inquisitor do
and
it.
then go back to Devin and be like, I tried to save him. Like, I think while they are showing that Maul is like they're showing that Maul isn't the main enemy, but I think they're going to do something to remind you, like, hey, he is a bad guy. It's like I think
Okay.
he like, kind of like with the Penguin, you started to sympathize with him throughout the season, and then just when you're like, you know what? The Gotham elites and those guys are the bad guy. Then he goes and kills what's his name? Like, no, no, he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. I they might remind you with Maul, like, hey, he's a bad guy.
And I think you're right because I think at this point there's only 4 episodes left.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, we are getting to yes, some things are going to come to a head unless they plan on doing a season 2 where they go on the run after this. Like he takes Devin goes on the run, but um which I can imagine they might do a season 2.
I could see it. I don't think anything's been confirmed yet, but I mean, looking at the IMDb ratings, it's been positive. I guess the question is less about the ratings and more about the views.
Right.
But I mean, I don't. I, again, 4 episodes. They could wrap this whole thing up in 4 episodes.
That's
But,
true.
but I feel like if the ratings are good and the viewer numbers are good, which that's what I would need to look up, I could see them going for a season 2. Bad Batch is officially over. Clone Wars is over. Rebels is over. this could be their new animated show. And it doesn't need to run on for 7 seasons. It could just be 2 or 3 seasons, 10 episodes per. So it's not like a huge commitment, but I could
Right.
see a season two.
Especially if you've got all this time from whatever Maul's doing now to where he shows up with Ezra.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got a
Or
lot
is
of
it,
time in
would it be, this
between.
is after Ahsoka, before
This
Ezra?
is after the end of the Clone Wars. So yeah, like the Empire has taken over. I think they said it's 2 years removed from Order 66 and all of that.
Okay,
So, and I mean, Kanan was a kid during Order 66, and he's a grown adult by the time we get to Rebels. So I mean, there's
okay.
a couple
Right,
decades.
right, that you can find out what Maul's been up to at this point.
Yeah.
And so I think we're getting a little hint of it now. And so hopefully they do let it keep
Well, he
going.
takes over Crimson Dawn. We know that because in Han Solo or
Solo,
in
right,
Solo, he shows up and he's running that. So yeah, he's out and about doing
right.
stuff.
Yeah, stay with him. Find out what
Yeah.
he's doing. Yeah, find out if he's just jumping from city to city and having the Empire chase him down, you
Yeah.
know? All right, well, we will end that here, and tonight is Daredevil episode 6, and we're hoping finally some Jessica Jones,
I
hopefully.
think it is episode 6. I am 80, 90% positive Jessica Jones is in it just because of the thumbnail I saw last week. I still
Okay.
stand by my comments on the last episode of the Daredevil podcast. Why did you show her in the trailer if you weren't going to introduce her until over halfway through the season?
Right.
You
You could
introduced her in the trailer. I'm like, oh, we're going to see her within the first 2 episodes.
you could have hidden her and had her be a good surprise. Like that could
Yep.
have been the chatter going in,
Yeah,
in this episode instead of the chatter being when she's gonna show up and be like, oh, cool, we're getting Jessica Jones.
exactly.
So yeah, that's on tonight, and so we're gonna leave you there, and